they say? They said you will never. This agreement is written into the law of karma, and the agreement says that understanding your knowledge and your individual condition, you will never be given more than you can withstand, more than you can take. It might seem more than you can take. You might feel like it's more than you can take. But written into the actual law itself is the concept that you will never be given more than you can take. And they go on and say that promise should make clear two concepts. First, it is a law that you cannot be given more than you can handle, and someone knows exactly what you are going through. You are being monitored. You are not alone. And a little side note, they say, John says that if we could get this concept alone across to everyone who suffers, the change would be amazing. You are not alone, not ever. So in this concept you have, in this understanding that you're kind of monitored to make sure you're never given more than you can take. Your condition is watched. You're monitored. You're not alone. Somebody's keeping an eye on you. If we get that concept across to those who contemplate suicide, it probably would change a lot of things. You're not getting more than you can handle. You can handle more than you're given. You're not alone. Somebody's watching you every second to see what it is that you're being given. The concept of being alone and nobody cares kind of adds to the stress of the contemplation of suicide. The understanding that you're being watched at that very moment to make sure that you're not given too much could make a big difference. They go on and say, you may be told that you are alone and that you have been given more than you can handle. It now has the right to teach you that. The sons of darkness have the right to teach you that. You may buy their package and serve, but we ask at what price? Did you understand that? You're told that you're alone? You're told that you're being given more than you can handle? What are they saying there? Suicide is on its side, the fallen one's side? The fallen one has the right to teach you that. The sons of darkness have the right to teach you that. And if you buy their package, you can. You can buy their package and serve. But they ask at what price? What price are you going to serve? That's the first concept that understanding brings. The second concept, they say, because the law has to recognize the exact condition a person is in at any given time, you might begin to understand why one person comes out so much different than another, given the same apparent conditions. What do we mean by that? Life doesn't seem fair if you look at the outcome of the action people take. One person breaks the law and the judge throws a book at him. Another person breaks the same law and the judge gives him a light reprimand. Two people apply for the same job and the less qualified person gets it. On and on it goes in life, and you see it every day. It is not fair. Well, as we said, karma is very fair. There are other factors that could be entering into this equation, like the fifth source of emotion or personal power, but we wish to focus on the karmic influence here. So what did they say? Look at the unfairness of what happens in life. One person breaks a law and gets a book thrown at him, and another person breaks the same law and the judge just slaps his hand. Two people apply for the same job and the less qualified person gets it. And they say, now, if we take out the factor of the fifth source of emotion, which is that mental projection that forces you to do something against your will, we take that out and we deal only with the karmic influences, what is going on here. And so they go on and say, we said that no person could be given more than he or she could handle. That part of the law requires adjustments to a person's life if things get tough. It requires more adjustment for those who are less developed. The less developed require more breaks just to keep them going. place that concept into real life, and you begin to see people getting breaks right and left, and you are beginning to understand why. Want to find a very developed person with whom you can counsel? Find one who doesn't get any breaks, but manages to come out anyway. Or better yet, find one who seeks the lessons before the crisis and avoids the crisis altogether. Now, do you understand what they're saying there? That one's a little cloudy. They were talking about people who went to court for the same law-breaking condition. They broke the same law. One of them gets a book thrown at them, and one of them just gets a light reprimand. Second example is two people applying for the same job, and this wimpy, little, less qualified person got the job. If you take out the influence of the fifth source of emotion and probably take out the factors of who you know, take those two things out, this is karma in operation. Why? Because it requires that adjustments are made for those people who can't handle something. The less developed require more breaks just to keep them going. Put that concept in real life, and what do you see? You see the less developed getting breaks. You see the more developed getting whacked across the side of the head, don't you? Isn't that an example of the model of man they were creating making more sense than any other model you bring to it? What model do you bring to it that helps you understand why some people only get a wrist slap and it seems like they ought to get, the whole book thrown at them, and other people who are doing pretty good in their life get really smashed. They get serious problems nailed on them, and they both do the same thing. That's a different model of man that they're presenting to you. It's karma. You're under the influence of karmic action. Those who are less developed will get the breaks. What did they say? If you want to find somebody to pattern your life after, go find somebody that gets whapped all the time and comes out pretty good. Why? Because they're more highly developed, obviously. They're getting the thumps of life. They're not being spared. They're not being, the burden isn't being lightened because they aren't ready for it. So this thing that karma has written into the law, that you will only be given that which you can handle, has some implications that affect how you see life, how you see what's going on around you. You begin to see that the people that really don't deserve much of anything because they haven't learned any of the basic lessons of life. They kind of floating through, I don't care, I don't know, I'm just partying, and they seem to get the breaks. And the other person, I'm working 50 hours a week, I'm taking care of my family, I'm doing everything I should, and I'm getting whacked and dumped on by life. And you put karma formula in there, and you say, it makes sense. Of course, the people that aren't very developed aren't going to get whapped all the time. Life is not going to dump on them. They can't take it. And they're being monitored. And they're not going to get that kind of beating because they can't take it. Those who are much more developed will get the beating, and they can take it, and they learn. And those that are very well developed will come out fine. They learn the lesson quickly, doesn't come again. And those that are very highly developed seek the lesson before the thing even comes, learn it, and never even have the thing come. So one little concept that you're being monitored in karma and you're never given more than you're going to be able to take has two very significant implications that you can see the results of right in everyday life. You see it all around you. You see what's happening all around you, and it's part of the operation of karma. So they go on and say, if you begin to look at life with this new concept, you will soon come to the realization that you are a poor judge of anyone's condition in life. With this concept, you begin to realize that there are some people out there who aren't as developed as they seem. Society's method of judging where a man should be placed in its value system seems to be just a mite off when seen from this point of view. And they say that's another thing taught. So what did they say? They said you look up to a person who's in a high station in life and kind of gets the breaks. You look up to that person because he's lucky. Now you see it from this point of view and you say, ooh, the guy's not lucky. The guy's being given the breaks because he's so underdeveloped. He can't even take the little things of life. And that's true.